boy TJ.
We're going to basically tell you a little bit about ourselves and why we're starting a YouTube channel. So we're starting a YouTube channel to basically let everyone, you YouTubers, know like how it's okay to be in a relationship at a young age.
Just showing y'all that it ain't nothing wrong with young love, committing young, early. A lot of people think something is wrong with that.
And it's not at all whatsoever. Not only are we going to let you know about a little bit about our relationship, but just insight on having fun in your relationship and growing and creating your own family. So that's basically what our YouTube is going to be about. So starting off, we're going to tell you the story of how we met and got married. First off, we met at our championship football game. Of course, you know, my school won, but I'm not going to really throw that out there. But I was
Seniors
a cheerleader.
in high school.
Well, yes, seniors in high school. I was a cheerleader, and he was a football player.
For different teams.
Me being me,
Yeah.
or me being a girl. I saw him from afar. And of course, as usual, we're going to try to figure out who the person is. While they was on the field, and we were on the field just trying to figure out our places and stuff and where we were going to be standing, I saw them, and out of his whole football team, I saw him. And I was like, I got to figure out who that is. I got to figure out what his name is. So after our game was over, I asked one of the cheerleaders, because of course they know him, what his name was, and nobody wanted to tell me. So I was like, well, maybe the females like him, you know, they don't want to tell who he is. So I asked one of his fellow football players, and it was like, his name's Terrell. So I'm like, well, what's his last name, you know? So they told me his last name. Before we even left, one of the football players called him over, and I'm extremely shy. So I don't understand like why they called him over, because I really ain't have much to say, but hey, you know, and plus they had just lost, and you don't want to talk after you just lost. So after we left the game and I saw him or whatever, we ended up popping up at the same restaurant. Well, the cheerleaders and their football team. And I made eye contact with him, but it wasn't on no, like, dang, she looking at me, and I'm like, dang, you know, he looking at me type thing. It was just, we made eye contact, and in my head, I was like, dang, he looked at me. But in his head, he was like, why she looking at me? But I didn't really stare at him, because other cheerleaders was like, dang, he looked good, so I'm not trying to make it like I just want him more than everybody else, but actually that was the case. So when I got home, I looked him up on Facebook, and I got his number, and we started talking like here and there, but it was never anything serious because he had a girlfriend. So it seemed like every time that we would end up like actually like talking or whatever, he would have a girlfriend. I was like, well, it must not be meant to be, because he seemed to be taking every time, so it is what it is. I went off to the military. While I was in, we talked. It happened so towards like the end when I was finna get out, he was single. So we was talking like more often than usual.
I went off to college, played football, of course. But after I came home, Thanksgiving break, that's when we met up. She hit me up on Snapchat out the blue, and she said she was close by. And me being me, you know,
What you mean being you?
I messaged you back.
Yeah, you was messaging
But I was
me.
taking
No,
long.
you was messaging me back right away at first. But when I was like, so do you want to meet up? I think you said yeah, but I was like, where? And you ain't never respond back. And I was like, well, dang, like, are we gonna meet up or not? So I'm sitting, I was eating anyway, but I'm getting close to finishing my food, so I'm like, are we gonna meet up or not? So I'm still waiting. I'm not getting no reply. So I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna get ready to go. So when I'm getting ready to leave, that's when he decides to text back. And I guess he had to think about it or figure out if he wanted to meet up or not.
No, the thing was, I didn't know if I should.
Or if I was crazy.
Nah, I didn't know if I should. That's why it took so long. That's why I hesitated. But after I made up my mind, that's when I replied back. I was over my dad's house. She came over my dad's.
No, yeah.
Actually, I didn't even give her the address to my dad's house. I sent her to my high school. My high school.
Which I was trying to figure out, like, why we meeting up at his school? So I'm like, well then, again, you know, we don't really know each other like that. So I was like, maybe it's just a, like, safe spot for us to meet for the first time.
I just didn't know if I should bring you over there at the time.
What did you think when we met at the high school?
What you mean what I thought?
Like when you saw me. Don't leave that out. You ain't leaving nothing else out, so don't leave that out.
I was like, she fine. She looking good. She looking like a snack. But went to my dad's house. Chilled up for a little bit. I had my little brother with me and my sister. And my sister she didn't like her.
She didn't like me at all. She gave me a really hard time. Yeah. And I felt like I had impressed her for him. But then at the same time, I was like, man, it's just OV for her because she really didn't like me. And I ain't do anything. So I didn't understand, why was so much tension. But she came around. I can't say she came around. And after that...
We chilled and watched TV for a little bit.
But my grandma was with me.
Yeah.
Of course, she wasn't staying there for a while, so we ended up leaving.
Yeah. And after that, we was meeting, every weekend?
Pretty frequently. It took me coming to stay. And by 2015, we were moved in together pretty much. And I don't want everything to sound like it's just so picture perfect because we did have moments where we did not know if this was gonna work out. Like we had this huge fight where we didn't know, well, he knew he was done. But I kind of wasn't having it because I felt like it was just too much put in. This was August when we had this huge fight. Basically the fight was over, we wasn't communicating properly. I was thinking one thing and he had in his mind something totally different of his plan, and he just wasn't really letting me in on it. So I was like, well dang, I'm just gonna be left out to dry. But that wasn't the case. And after me throwing all his clothes out, and that was wrong and very crazy of me, but he took me back.
We argued a lot, but I always wanted to just get out of it. But you always need that one person that's gonna say, nah, we gonna work this out. Because me, I always just wanted to walk away, give it up. Because I was fed up, I was tired of it. But she held us together, man. She was the glue in all this. And if it wasn't for her, man, we wouldn't be here today.
And a lot of our arguments would be very small, like the smallest thing we would pretty much get agitated with each other over. And you have to try to, instead of getting upset about it, try to communicate about it to move past it and not let it get the best of you. And we try our best when we're angry with each other, even if it takes time, but don't go more than a day or so without speaking to each other or actually trying to figure out what's going on. Even though I don't always work like that.
I can go a long time without talking to her. I can. It's not right. It's not good, but I can. Like I said, she's been the glue.
Not every time. Not every time.
Majority.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to put your temper aside and try to fix things.
I guess.
But we were both very stubborn, but it's a work in process. That's what a relationship is, a work in progress. Before we got married, he asked my dad basically like for my hand in marriage because we intended to get married. It just wasn't actually the timing that we probably were going to do. After the big fight, I went and saw him, even though my parents didn't really want me to because
No, it was your dad. Her dad.
Even though my dad didn't really want me to go see him, I did it anyway.
But after she threw my clothes out, I ignored her.
Beforehand, he did ignore me. He really ignored me. But I called him off my phone. He blocked me. I called him off of Facebook, I think. He blocked me. I called him off my little cousin's phone. He blocked me. I called him off my grandma's phone. He blocked her. Well, blocked me. I tried to call him off my mama's phone.
App.
I'm gonna get there, but I wasn't really around my mama much. I called him off an app like 2 or 3 times. He responded a little, but I ended up getting blocked. And afterwards,